I randomized the religion of every nation in the world. Norse and Shinto nations in Europe, Catholics in India, native Jews in America. The possibilities and the chaos that goes with it are endless. I'm working on some Hoi4 content in the coming weeks, so stay tuned for that. You guys have asked, and I have heard you. It'll be worth the wait, but in the meantime, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. That way you do not miss out when it is uploaded. Overall, things looking pretty normal. That is until you hit this button and then you see everything is absolutely not normal. Everything is, in fact, the opposite of normal. This might be the wackiest sight I have ever seen in this game. I'm not exactly sure how I should feel about this quite yet, but I think the main takeaway from just this initial load-in is that this is going to be a very fun video. The only religion that is not being represented is this one here, and that's just because it is not in the mod. The mod is a couple of years old, from before Leviathan when these guys were introduced, and I couldn't be asked to update it, but you guys know the drill. We put it on that speed 5, and then we unpause. Ah yes, just as it was intended. We have an Orthodox Ottomans and Hindu Byzantium. And I'm like trying to think about how this will impact the game. At the end of the day, pretty much everybody is going to be bordering heathens, so it might be easier for nations to blob because they won't care as much about them taking land from another country. By the way, anybody that was converted to Protestant or Reformed did indeed spawn a center of Reformation, so the ones who remained Catholic probably won't be Catholic for long. Also, I just think it has to be pointed out because it's really funny when you think about it. Thuringia is fetishist while also looking remarkably like a penis. It appears that there is no Holy Roman Empire, which is kind of interesting. I didn't know that's how that would work. But the Empire of China is going strong. So for better or for worse, there is no HRE. Probably for better, if I had to guess. People like Austria still not having a hard time finding allies. But some people certainly are. I assume that various religions will have malices, especially heathens and whatnot. Poland over here conquesting Hungary. They've got plenty of claims, and it looks like they're going to be pretty strong. They did remain Catholic, and they did take the Jagiellon, so looks like we might see a very strong Catholic Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. Well, it certainly appears that Venice and Naples are having a game so far. Popeman has been annexed, but to be fair, a lot of tags in the HRE in general have been annexed. The number of tags has been cut down pretty significantly. With no HRE, that means no emperor, which means people can just kind of indiscriminately attack and annex each other, and if there is no real religious cohesion, understandable, people are having a hard time finding allies. But just over 30 years in, we've got a big beefy Ming, France, Ottomans, Poland, Venice, Castile, Burgundy, and then Muscovy. We've got a Tengri Burgundy with a syncretic faith of Zoroastrian, giving them an extra merchant. Okay, man. And we can't forget about the Jewish kingdom of Cusco over here in South America, kind of giving some Third Odyssey vibes on a whole different scale. Fleeing religious persecution, heading to the New World. Is this the utopia we've all been told about? We are definitely starting to see some blobs popping up over here. Poland has eaten all of Romania, Transylvania, as well as Slovakia. France has eaten all of Switzerland. And down but not out, Byzantium has been kicked out of Constantinople but now exists down in southern Greece. So far, Ming doing pretty good. As I've said in previous videos, I feel like Ming is a lot more inconsistent this time around. It used to be in previous patches that they would either always survive or always die. It seems pretty 50-50 on whether they fall or if they do well. So I always appreciate a little bit of variation. Saying that I appreciate variation while playing with a mod that changes the religion of every country in the world randomly. We do have Jewish Castile over here with their personal union over Aragon. And we cannot forget about little Zoroastrian Navarra here, very important to mention. Well, no wonder Naples is kicking everybody out of southern Italy. They've got them samurais running around with them. It appears that the Sons of Ragnar have settled here in Hesse, here in central Germany. They've grown by quite a few provinces as well, so I think they may be my pocket pick for what's to come. Though probably not the most wild thing I've viewed in this mod just yet. Catholic Muscovy is pretty funny. And I usually don't look at the New World a whole lot because I find it extremely boring, but don't forget about Buddhist Aztecs. Coptic Bahmanis over here run and train on many of the Indian miners. And I think this is actually the first time I've ever seen an AI form Lotharingia. That is pretty dope. And to add to it, they are indeed Tengri, so makes it even better in my opinion. Great powers look pretty similar to the last time we looked, and Castile went Explo expansion, as well as Portugal. So we're going to be seeing some colonial stuff eventually. Muscovy is going to form Russia as soon as they get the admin tech for it, so that is fine. Timurid's still hanging in there with most of their subjects, though they're pretty much all disloyal. But you got to admit that they're pretty Sikh, right? Pretty Sikh nation. I will never forget, I did a multiplayer campaign with a bunch of people from my Discord, and I was playing as the Ottomans, and that was back before I knew that it was like a jerk move to play the Ottomans in multiplayer. and I had a Sikh province randomly spawn in my country, so I naturally converted to it. And I took a screenshot and I posted it on the subreddit, and I got a comment that called them the Sikh man of Europe. And generally I don't like Reddit because the people that use it are pretty insufferable in general, but that specific joke made me laugh so hard. But one subreddit that I do like is my subreddit, which is linked in the description below my video. Feel free to join it and post some good memes. Maybe we'll do some videos reviewing some of the fun memes that you guys post down there. So if you want to check it out, go ahead and check it out. And while you're down there, go ahead and leave a like on the video if you're enjoying it, and subscribe for more content like this in the future. Big yikes, there's only 4 Catholic nations left in the world, the most powerful of which is Russia, who has actually declared a crusade against Lotharingia. And it looks like Jewish France, not long for this world, attacked by Lotharingia as well as their ally Spain. Even with the 2 Sicilies and Poland coming in, it doesn't look like it's going to go very well for them. And on a side note, it appears that Lithuania has broken free and is no longer a personal union under Poland. And because Spain has a colonial empire and they've sent a bunch of their armies over there, they are now absolutely getting dominated by Portugal and France. Though I don't think too much about it because France is actually getting absolutely dominated by Lotharingia. Thoughts and prayers going out to Ming. Seems like they're getting dogpiled on, and for good reason. They haven't had any mandate for like 50 years, so it's about that time. Russia having a really good game, getting all the way into Siberia with their frontiers, and all the way down into Stockholm over here. They also just finished a war against Lithuania. Not long before that, they finished a war against the Ottomans, so clearly they're doing all right. And speaking of doing all right, Lotharingia has continued to grow, and they shall continue to grow because they just keep on attacking France over and over and over again. And it would appear that with all the chaos going on the European continent, that a lot of colonization is not really getting done. No surprise considering how many times many of these provinces have changed hands. Looks like the Ottomans have lost a couple of provinces and are getting beat up on. I like to see a Russian Anatolia. I feel like you don't see that very often. The deluge happened, only this time it was between Lotharingia and Brandenburg. Maybe a little bit of Lithuania in there as well. You do love to see a Coptic presence here on the Indian subcontinent. Balmanis is doing quite well. They are in a golden era and they have quite a lot of men in the field. Sadly, it doesn't look like Coptic as a whole is doing very well though. Now taking your religions sorted by the number of provinces, you can see here 311 for the Catholics, and then the Buddhists, and then the Jews, the Hindus, Totemists, and Orthodox, followed by the Animists. As far as countries go, mostly Orthodox and Catholic, not more than 15 countries following one single faith. Pretty crazy. I feel like these numbers are much more varied than they are in vanilla. I'm always happy to see a Kalmyk pop up here. Good old steppe nomad Kalmyk with a little bit of a twist. They're Mayan. Mayan Kalmyk. That's a good look. I like that one. Yeah, this has been coming for quite a long time. The Orthodox Ottomans are no more. It's kind of nuts when you take a look in Italy and you just see how similar it has looked basically for the last 200 years. Venice and the 2 Sicilies carved it up and then basically sat there and didn't do anything. Kind of crazy. Ming has finally done their thing and collapsed. And meanwhile, Russia absolutely popping off. Japan looks pretty interesting. There is no Japan, but you have Hosokawa over here who also took over all of Korea. And then these guys over here who took over everything in the north. Coptic India continuing to grow. Balmanis with almost 250,000 troops in the field. Absolutely massive. And Lotharingia working through their mission tree and absolutely just blowing up. Lotharingia is probably my favorite thing of this entire video. What do you guys think? What's the most interesting thing you guys have seen so far? Did I miss anything? North America getting definitely contested by a bunch of different nations. As with South America, though it looks like the natives ate up a bunch of people over here in southern Brazil as well as La Plata. African colonization is split between Spain and Britain, though it looks like Britain is basically only going for the coasts. Australia and New Zealand are exclusively Portuguese, and I didn't touch them, but it looks like Bone is doing pretty good. The Boners have spread to Indonesia. It looks like the other people around them are having a bit of a hard time, if you will. Seems like Russia had a little bit of a rough go at it towards the end here. But somebody who didn't seem to have a rough go at it, Balmanis over here, are Coptic lands spreading their faith and making their way all the way down to Sumatra in Southeast Asia. We got Russia all the way down into Vietnam. Ho Chi Minh represent. Revolution was pretty much just contained to Lotharingia and a couple of provinces outside of them. And Iceland, of course. You have a fetishist revolutionary Iceland. Culture didn't change a whole lot, except for Polish. It seems like the Poles really liked culture converting for some reason. And the Austrians, for that matter. They did quite a bit of culture conversion. New World, still pretty much a mess between a bunch of different people. 13 colonies, as well as Portugal and Spain over here on the west coast. Portugal up here. Denmark over here, not Great Britain, and then Spain and Portugal down here again. The religious map mode is just about the most beautiful thing I have ever seen in my life. Hindus have migrated over here into Arabia as well as Egypt. Tangris control most of Europe with a little bit of Zoroastrian. Great Britain maintained the Mayan faith over here. And Jewish Iberia going strong. Portuguese Australia down here, Coptic as well, so you'll love to see that. Well, that was a good bit of fun, and I enjoyed it a lot. If you enjoyed it as well, please do make sure you let me know. Leave a like on the video and subscribe for more content like this. If you want early access to these videos, you can support me for as little as $5 a month on Patreon. It really goes a long way towards supporting content you love, as well as letting me do this full-time so I can, keep giving you content. If you want to join my Discord, my subreddit, or my Twitter, those things are all linked in the description as well. And if you have any suggestions for things you'd like to see in the future, make sure you leave them in the comments below the video. But anyways, that's about all I got for you for today. Till next time, guys, stay chill.